Welcome to this video. Today we will explore the story of Prophet Moses Musa in great detail, covering his life and the famous encounters he had with Pharaoh. This story is based entirely on the Quran. Stay tuned after the introduction as we dive into the complete events of this incredible story. The story of Prophet Moses Musa, from beginning to end. His birth and upbringing. In the land of Egypt, during a time when the Israelites were oppressed under Pharaoh's rule, Pharaoh had issued a decree to kill every newborn male of the Israelites, fearing that their numbers would increase and threaten his authority, as the Quran states. Indeed, Pharaoh exalted himself in the land and made its people into factions, oppressing a group among them, slaughtering their newborn sons, and keeping their females alive. Indeed, he was of the corruptors. Surah Al-Qasas 4. Moses was born during these harsh times. His mother, fearing for his life, was inspired by God to place him in a basket and cast him into the river, trusting in God's protection. But when you fear for him, cast him into the river, and do not fear and do not grieve. Indeed, we will return him to you and will make him one of the messengers. Surah Al-Qasas 7. The basket carrying Moses floated to the palace of Pharaoh, where the wife of Pharaoh found the child and grew attached to him. She pleaded with Pharaoh to spare the boy's life and adopt him. And the wife of Pharaoh said, "He will be a comfort to me and to you. Do not kill him, perhaps he may benefit us, or we may adopt him as a son." Surah Al-Qasas 9. Moses grew up in Pharaoh's palace, but was always aware of his true identity as one of the Israelites. His departure to Midian. As Moses grew older, one day he witnessed a fight between an Egyptian and an Israelite. Trying to defend the Israelite, Moses struck the Egyptian, killing him unintentionally. Fearing for his life, Moses fled Egypt. So he left the city, fearful and vigilant. He said, "My Lord, save me from the wrongdoing people." Surah Al-Qasas 21. Moses escaped to the land of Midian, where he encountered two women struggling to water their flock. He assisted them, and their father, the prophet Shuaib, invited Moses to his home. Shuaib offered Moses his daughter's hand in marriage in exchange for working for him for several years. He said, "Indeed, I wish to marry you to one of my two daughters on the condition that you serve me for 8 years." Surah Al-Qasas 27. The revelation and his mission. After completing his years of service in Midian, Moses decided to return to Egypt. On his journey back, at Mount Sinai, Mount Tur, Moses witnessed a miraculous fire and approached it. There, God spoke to him. And when he came to it, he was called, "O Moses, indeed I am your Lord, so remove your sandals. Indeed, you are in the sacred valley of Tua." Surah Taha 11-12. God commanded Moses to go to Pharaoh and call him to worship the one God and free the Israelites from bondage. To support Moses, God gave him miracles, such as turning his staff into a serpent and making his hand shine white when placed inside his garment. Confrontation with Pharaoh and the magicians. Moses returned to Egypt, and with his brother Aaron Harun went to Pharaoh to deliver God's message. However, Pharaoh was arrogant and refused to believe. Pharaoh said, "And what is the Lord of the world?" Surah Ash-Shu'ara 23. Pharaoh challenged Moses to show his miracles. Moses threw down his staff, which transformed into a serpent, and showed his radiant hand. Despite these signs, Pharaoh accused Moses of being a magician and gathered his own magicians to challenge him. When the magicians cast their ropes and staffs, Moses threw his staff, which swallowed up their illusions. So the magicians fell down in prostration. They said, "We believe in the Lord of Aaron and Moses." Surah Taha 70. The Exodus and miracles. After numerous signs and plagues, Pharaoh continued to reject the truth. Eventually, God commanded Moses to lead the Israelites out of Egypt. As they fled, Pharaoh and his army pursued them. At the Red Sea, God parted the waters for Moses and the Israelites to cross safely. When Pharaoh and his army followed, the waters closed in on them, drowning them. And Pharaoh pursued them with his soldiers, and there covered them from the sea that which covered them. Surah Taha 78. Receiving the Torah at Mount Sinai. After escaping Egypt, Moses led the Israelites to Mount Sinai, where he received the tablets containing the Torah. While Moses was away, some of the Israelites, influenced by the Samiri, began worshipping a golden calf. Upon returning, Moses was angered and rebuked his people for their disobedience. And when Moses returned to his people, angry and grieved, he said, "What an evil thing you have done in my absence." Surah Al-Araf 150. The end of his journey. Moses spent many years guiding the Israelites through the desert, during which they faced various trials. Despite Moses' efforts, the Israelites often disobeyed and demanded more signs from God. They were condemned to wander in the desert for 40 years due to their refusal to enter the Promised Land. Moses passed away after a long life of service and sacrifice, having led his people through trials and tribulations and delivering God's message. Conclusion. And thank you for watching this detailed story of Prophet Moses Musa. We hope you found it enlightening and inspiring. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with others. See you in the next video.